A flipped over car on rainy Idaho roads. Also, truck breaks down. Well, he ran out of fuel in a major intersection in Kingman, Arizona. Also, we've got the great Idaho Potato Museum. Load updates, maple, and more. This episode of
the Clutch Trucker Channel.
Clutch Trucker, filmed before a live, furry, and oh so sweet studio audience. Yep, you know her, you love her. Joe can't live without her. It's Maple, the world famous pancake dog. Hey YouTube, Clutch Trucker here. Thanks for tuning in to another edition of the Clutch Trucker Channel. Alright, so my last video, I had shown I delivered in Lovell, Wyoming on Friday morning, and then I went and picked up another load in Billings, Montana. And then in my last video you saw where, just before I got to Butte, the guy going down the hill with his brakes on fire and everything else. I finally got parked in Butte, Montana, well technically Rocker, at one of the town pumps there, late Friday night. I've been running low on hours, so it was going to be easier to do a long break there, leave Saturday night, late Saturday afternoon, drive to Sunday morning, and then drive from Sunday night to Monday morning to make my delivery in Coolidge, Arizona. So I stayed in Rocker, left there, I guess it was late in the afternoon on Saturday, drove all the way down to Littlefield, Arizona, which is just along, there's that little stretch of I was at 15, cuts in the northwest corner of Arizona. Stayed in Littlefield at a brand new TA Express, very nice. Yeah, so I got to Littlefield like 4 a.m., I guess it was Sunday morning at this point, and I'd finally reached Gear 4, so on the Ultra One TA Petro program, so I could use my Ultra credits for a free meal. So Sunday night, I got up, and I got some free KFC, then went back to bed for a few hours, and now I was just going to have to drive overnight again, all the way to make it to Coolidge, Arizona for my delivery on Monday morning. Then, I'd stopped in Kingman, Arizona, to go to the bathroom and stuff, and then I'm trying to get back on the interstate. Look what happens. Okay, so here I am trying to leave the TA after getting fuel and everything, making it on through the lot as we try to make it back over to the highway. Alright, so we get over to the highway, and I need to turn left onto I-40. And there's two lanes, you can see right there, that are going to turn us left onto I-40, and then get up to the light. I kind of see a lot of flashing lights going on, some things happening.
I-40 East.
That car goes on across, and I see there is a flashing lights on top of an Arizona DOT pickup, and he turns around. I let him do that, because, he's got the flashing lights and all that. And then he moves over into the turn lanes, kind of makes himself sideways in there to block both of them.
Oh, what do we have going on here?
And yeah, I see the head. There's a truck stuck across that intersection. He goes ahead and jumps out and tells me to move on around, so yeah, I do that. And had to go all the way into Kingman and find a place to turn around, which I did, and was able to come back up, because when I passed it, I did see that if I came back up the other way, I would be able to get by it coming up the other direction in the right turn lane. And you can see all the flashing lights again, and now we can really see the truck. Yeah, he apparently ran out of fuel right there. I saw them putting fuel in the tank on the other side when I went by. I guess he was hoping to make it to the TA, but he didn't quite make it. Yeah, boy. Yeah, apparently that truck ran out of fuel right there in the middle of the intersection. Hello! Made it on down to Coolidge, Arizona, delivered our load on Monday morning. Booked another load through TQL that was picking up over in the Phoenix area and going up to Logan, Utah. A load of snacks from Campbell's. Technically, I guess it's really Snyder's. But yeah, we picked up there. When I went to check in, it was a 2 p.m. pickup. I got there at 12:20. When I went to check in, they said, oh, well, you can't take I-17 on this route up through Flagstaff. Flagstaff's at like 7,400 feet because it's pretzels in bags and they will explode. Yeah, I've done a video on this in the past. Anytime you get, potato chips in bags, well, they have air in there. And you go over 7,000 feet and they will explode. They will blow up. So I'm like, okay, well, that's not what TQL said, but okay, now I've got an extra 150 miles to run, because now I get to go back up through Las Vegas to go that route to make the reload work. And they took 3.5 hours to get me loaded. So by the time they finally got me done late Monday afternoon, yes, I could extend my 14 by doing the split and all that, but I've been driving since 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm tired. I finally had to end up on a mountainside on I-17. Well, here I am parked on the side of a mountain, basically. Yeah, there's I-15 or I-17, and I'm on this little side road, just a little pullout right here. And I was going to head up to the Loves a little further up, and it already showed full on Trucker Path. But look at this, nice full moon tonight. How about that? Yeah, it just looks like a big dot, but looks pretty cool from inside the truck, actually. I always like a nice full moon. I drove under almost a full moon last night. Made the drive a little bit nicer because you can still see the terrain around you to a point, which makes it nice. So, I had to rework my route, and I'm going up 17 a little bit, but then I got to run over to Prescott to make it to 40 and go back through Las Vegas again. I've got another load booked, and that's going up to basically Idaho Falls area in Idaho, and that'll get me closer to a load I booked after that, picking up through HMRN, the guys I usually do the lignite for, but they've got a load of talc picking up in Dillon, Montana, and that's going to run me all the way over to North Carolina. That's a long run, but it's going to be paying pretty well. So we're trying to keep the pay up. It's just been kind of crazy. Like, it took so long to get loaded today, and Maple's all done with the day, aren't you? Yeah, you're all done. You're just snoozing. You're just chilling out. Yeah. It's been a long day, Maple. Yeah, I know. Yeah, then the next day we had, with the extra miles and everything, I wasn't going to make the original 6 a.m. delivery in Logan, Utah. And like I said, it was 800 miles from there where I was stopped. So I called TQL the next morning and said, hey, we're not going to make that, 6 a.m. appointment. Can you move it to like 9? I could probably make 9. They called me back a little while. Oh, well, the best one we can do is 2 p.m. Okay, I had another load booked, like I said earlier. Well, I had to give that back. And finally, on Wednesday, then I made it all the way up to Logan, Utah. So at that point, here I am. I booked a load, like I said earlier, and picking up in Dillon, Montana on Friday, going all the way to High Point, I think it is, North Carolina. So after I delivered Wednesday afternoon, I went to this little truck stop just, north on I-15 in Plymouth, Utah, and I did another long break there because, like I say, I'm really kind of short on hours, and which was nice. I've been running so hard, it's nice to slow down a little bit. And like I said earlier, there was when I was in Idaho, going on my way down, caught a car flipped off on the side of the road during rain. Alright, so here I am cruising down I-15. It's rainy, so, of course that kind of blurs out the video a little bit. Look, I see all these red lights up ahead. I see mainly off to the right side, so I move into the left lane, and then I see the flipped over car right there. Yeah, then I got to go around all the debris from them having flipped over, move back into the right lane. There's other, cars who have stopped to check out what's going on. Yeah, it must have just happened. Cops weren't even on there yet. And now the clutch trucker zoom and slow-mo. Alright, so look there on the left. Yep, you can see the car right there. Yeah, and all the debris from them flipping over. They just must have lost control in the rain. Yeah, cops weren't even there yet or anything. So, kind of crazy. Proving, gotta watch what you're doing there, drivers. Alright, so since I ended up having a shorter day, today being Thursday the 9th, since I didn't have another load now, I only had about 3.5 hours total to drive. I stopped in Idaho Falls and got a shower and all that. But before I got to Idaho Falls, there was I saw a sign on the side of the road on I-15, said Idaho Potato Museum. I was intrigued. All right, what is today? Today is Thursday the 9th. Here I am in Blackfoot, Idaho. As I saw there was a sign on the interstate that said Idaho Potato Museum. I always like stopping at weird places, and I've done the Uranus Fudge Factory. I stopped at Wall Drug, and since we had time today, I thought, let's go check out the Idaho Potato Museum. All right, I'm in the parking lot here, and it's right next to some railroad tracks. Apparently, this is a former train depot that they made into the Idaho Potato Museum. So it's right down here in downtown Blackfoot, Idaho, and it's behind me because I had to park, where you can get a truck in. All right, so let's go inside and check it out. Maple, I'm sorry. You have to stay here while I go check out the potato museum, okay? Sorry about that, honey. I know. Yes, you're so jealous. You're such a silly girl. Maple. Yeah. Snilly girl. There's a very jealous Maple. Wishes she could come along. Sorry, honey, but we'll be back soon. Very bright out here today. So I'm kind of in my shadow of my truck right now, but yeah, it's an old, apparently an old train station, a little train depot that we're walking up to. They got RV parking here. Some other tourists are checking it out. So see, there it is right up ahead. It says Blackfoot. Got a little train car out in front. Here's an old caboose. They have it just kind of surrounded by concrete. Old Union Pacific. What do? We work for you. Aha. UP 25457. Old caboose. Right in front of the depot here, Blackfoot. Okay, that's the main building. I'm past the front door though because I had to come see the giant potato. For Idaho Potato Museum. Blackfoot, Idaho. Okay, we're walking back up to the front door. Sure enough, Idaho Potato Museum, gift shop and cafe. Aha. A little mural here with a lady in a potato sack. Oh, and you can get your souvenir penny pincher. See if I have any pennies. No, they don't have any pennies. You're right after you walk inside, the first thing you enter is the gift shop area. And I talked to a very nice lady also visiting the Idaho Potato Museum. Told her I was a truck driver, I was doing a video, and she had a nice little story about you know, how she respects the truck drivers, and audio's not the greatest. I didn't have the microphone turned the right way, but listen to this. All right, okay, you got a story for me about trucking. Okay, go ahead.
About trucking, I just was telling my sister when I let her drive my treasured camper van, and we're going to stop somewhere to make a left turn. I said, keep going, there's a big truck behind us and he probably can't stop. It's like, don't, you know, and she's like, well, I'm in the right of way, I'm making a left turn. I'm like, it doesn't matter if you're in the right of way, keep going and go down. We're in no hurry, turn around, come back up. We're not sure we're turning in there, and there is not room. I mean, look in your rearview mirror. Keep an eye on your rearview mirror. If you see a big truck coming, and all of a sudden you decide to stop and make a left turn, that truck didn't see your lights, didn't see your turn signal, and there's nowhere for him to go around.
Very good, yeah.
So please just keep going.
Give us some room.
That you're in the right. Just give him some room. He cannot stop that fast. He's got a heavy load. So.
Yep. Appreciate that.
I hope it helps her in the future.
So some people out there actually recognize how hard it is to be a truck driver sometimes. And then we talked to Mandy, the gal behind the counter that I had to pay the admission fee for, and told us a little bit about the museum. And again, I had the microphone aimed at her, but the audio isn't the best, so you got to turn it up a little bit to hear what she has to say. All right, we just paid our cost to get in. This is Mandy, and she's the one who's in charge of everything. So can you give us a brief synopsis of the museum?
Well, we're in an old railroad station, so a lot of this building is super old. It's about, I think it was like 1913 is when this building was made. And in the potato museum, the first room talks about the history of potatoes, where they came from, and then the second room is like our agricultural room. So we have a lot of different machinery that came about, how the potato influenced not only Bingham County but also the world, and just lots of fun information. We got a couple little games in there, and of course we have our cafe, which is pretty dang good.
All right, thank you. A lot of people always wonder why Idaho, you know, because it's famous for potatoes. That's what they say on their license plates. So we got the answer right here in front of me. See, why Idaho? Ideal growing conditions, expanding network of railroads secured Idaho's historic relationship with the potato. Climate. Well, its short summers with hot days and cool nights are best suited for growing potatoes. Soil. The wind-blown volcanic soils of the Snake River Valley are especially suited for potatoes. They grow better in a light soil like volcanic ash, which has a rich supply of trace materials. Of course, irrigation became a big thing. So yeah, there you go. And look, this shows Idaho's potatoes are grown in the U.S. Fertile Snake River Valley. Percentage indicates what share of the state's average of 5 million potatoes these regions produce each year. So 10% come from southwest Idaho, 40% central Idaho, and 50% southeast Idaho counties. How about that? So lots of interesting stuff. The whole origins of the Idaho potato. Some of the people behind it growing potatoes today. How they do it. They have, of course, showing all the fields, how they're planted and so forth, how they're usually picked up from the field. So when you see trucks like this going down the road, see, they're loaded by a conveyor, and that's how they load them into the trucks. I've had a conveyor. I've loaded raw potatoes before in a dry van. Here's a little story all about it. Some of the tools. As I'm sure most of you know, Pringles are not potato chips. They're technically potato crisps. Why? Well, because they're basically made from mashed out potatoes. So here's the world's Guinness Book of World Records largest potato crisp, created by engineers at Procter & Gamble in 1991. There you go. It says it's the equivalent of 920 calories, the equivalent of 80 regular Pringles potato crisps. How about that? Idaho potato varieties. 94% of all potatoes grown in Idaho are russets. About 6% are niche varieties such as golds, reds, and fingerlings. Aha, there you go. Okay, they have the cellar. What is the cellar? Let's check that out. Oh, little toy tractors.
In between growing in the field.
Aha! Oh, there's the cellar.
We've been down here for several months now, and I've grown quite fond of this place. But we're going to have to be moving on soon. It's getting close to harvest time, or as I like to call it, the Great Potato Migration. When that time comes, we'll all be uprooted and moved to a cozy community setting in one of the fancy cellars you see out there in the fields. Now don't be feeling sorry for us. It can tend to get pretty stale down here at times.
Well, after the talking potatoes, yeah, we have some of the early stuff from years ago, tractors and ways they had to get the potatoes out of the ground, harvest and so forth. Kind of interesting. Here's a potato planter, it says. Very interesting. There's a cafe back there, apparently. Another big conveyor. Spudnik loader. That's how they can get them out of the fields and into trucks. Oh, and of course a whole bunch of Mr. Potatoes. You have to have that. And RTD2 Mr. Potato. Milestone potato cutter used in the 1960s. There you go. And like I say, I've picked up in a field before and I've seen a lot of this equipment. It's pretty interesting. Alright, we did the Idaho Potato Museum. Actually, not quite as exciting as I thought it would be, but it was kind of fun. They did charge admission though, which, you know, what are you gonna do? So, nice little break, something to do, since I had most of this day off. Hey Maple, we're back. Sorry you couldn't come into the Potato Museum. You didn't miss much. Yeah, like I said earlier, wasn't as much as it's a potato museum. What are you going to expect? It's not going to be all that exciting, but it was kind of fun. Why not? You know, at least I got a little distraction while I'm out here on the road. All right, we'll pick up our load tomorrow and we'll head towards North Carolina. At least I do get a run back through the house on my way in Cheyenne. I'm going to meet my wife for lunch on Saturday. I got some groceries I already ordered on the King Soopers app. King Soopers is Kroger, and I'll pick that up on Saturday, and then we'll make our way down to North Carolina. So that's probably the next video you'll see. I'll be maybe down in the North Carolina area. That's where we're going. And then now here I am parked in Lima, or Lima, I'm not sure how they pronounce it, Montana, at a rest area. All right, here's the rest area I'm parked at. This mountain back here kind of intrigues me, if I can get a decent shot of it. Yeah, there it is. If I can get some shot without bugs in the way. But the way it kind of cuts like that kind of reminds me of the Matterhorn in Switzerland and Disney World, or Disneyland. Nice quiet place to park, so we'll pick up there in Dillon, Montana tomorrow, and we'll make our way all the way down to High Point, North Carolina for a Tuesday delivery. It's about 2,400 miles, paying $4,200. Not bad. It's a load of talc.
A few moments later.
Okay, so yeah, we delivered on Tuesday, the 14th of October in High Point, North Carolina. Then I headed on over towards my next pickup, which is going to be in Mooresville. So I parked in Salisbury, North Carolina, at a brand new Sheetz. Nice place to park for the night. And then I headed on over and picked up my load. This one's going to Ponca City, Oklahoma for a Friday morning delivery, 11:30. And it's been 2 days of crazy backups, traffic, yada, yada, yada. So now this load's really tight. Gotta love it. All right, so then we're going to deliver that on Friday. And yeah, I made it as far as Kingston Springs, Tennessee. I was trying to make it a little bit further, but all the traffic delays, from here on, everything was filled up. So I had to come back here. I had to go stop and then go back like another 6 miles back east to this Petro where I could reserve a spot. And of course, those were all filled because they're not enforcing it here. Even there were supposed to be 20 open spots still. I'm really getting sick of that. If you're going to offer the reserved parking, then you need to enforce it. Then we'll see what happens from there. That will be on the next video. Well, thanks for tuning in for that one. Yeah, we thought we'd throw another one up here. It's been, again, almost another week, but, you know, been running my arse off. What can I say? There's Clutch Trucker on Instagram, Clutch Trucker on Twitter X, Clutch Trucker 5 on TikTok, and as always, sniff that magic YouTube fairy dust, a yawning Clutch and Maple, out. So, what did the airline say? Said I might get a seat on standby. And if they said Wolverines made good house pets, would you believe them too? All right, here we go. Go back here. Go back there. Oh, look at her standing up on her hind legs and dancing. Oh, it's so cute. There you go. There you go, Maple. Tail wag, 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 wag. Happy girl eating her smartphone. She loves them. All right, how's it going? You almost done? Choo, choo, choo. She's happy. Look at that tail. Oh, yeah, happy girl. Happy girl. All right, check around. Make sure you got it all, Maple. Yep, we need the happy girl look. Happy girl.